Dungeon Crawler Network presents Tales of Tamriel.
Good afternoon, or good morning for some people. Welcome to episode 101 of Tales of Tamriel, a Dungeon Crawler Network production. I am your host, Aggelos, and with me this morning, well, the early bird catches the worm, and that worm is not in his coffee because he's not drinking tequila. Avi Optimal, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very good. I'm tired. I'm here.
I caught you mid
Mid-yawn.
yeah.
Yeah, hey, it's gonna happen today. Sorry.
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
I got coffee.
Got coffee. I had
It's not beer.
a leftover Mountain Dew Baja Blast from Taco Bell last night.
That's the secret. That's the secret stuff. You can only get it from Taco Bell.
Yeah, right?
I used to go take an empty milk jug and fill one up when I used to play Counter-Strike.
Nice. Yeah, I love the stuff. So,
It's delicious.
I was kind of upset because Taco Bell screws me every time I go because they had these awesome Boss Nachos, and we went the one day. I'm like, I'm getting those, and I didn't get them because they were like, oh, we don't serve them anymore. So I was very angry. And then yesterday, my wife says to me, you know, we should go again. I'm like, yeah, I guess, even though they screwed me the last time. But this time, I'm going to get a big thing of Kickstart. I don't even care. Sir, Kickstart's not working. There are things not working anymore. Would you like something else? I hate you, Taco Bell. I don't care. They're not our sponsors. I don't even want them. I don't care. They're awful.
But it's so delicious.
Every single time they screw me. It's awful. Oh, and hello, Khajiit. She who will never leave me alone. No, leave me alone or I'll eat your face. No, nothing. I kissed her. All right, the man who I kind of, he kind of got lost and a little confused with the time zone change because apparently I was gonna say suffer. We suffer daylight savings time before the UK does apparently. And there was a little bit of confusion on time. So a little extra early, not quite done yet. Could have used a little bit more bake time. That'd be Nate, a.k.a. Misa.
Yeah, to be honest, it's fine. Avi's up at, 7 a.m., 8 a.m.? What time is it over there?
7:30.
7. I can see the sun just coming in onto your face very delicately. So it's still 2 p.m. in the afternoon here, although I've got an illness. I've got the Lotus Plague or something. So I apologize if I sound stuffed up to the nostrils. I've got medication. I've got my little wooden Misa doll here. We're going to get through this. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a good time anyway. The man in the lower left corner who I just decided I'm bringing in because he's awesome and I haven't got to talk to him recently. Setsua, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you. How are you doing?
As I adjust the gain on my mic because I'm watching my little mic bar go crazy and I know I'm loud and I don't know why. I mean, I literally have my mic set to like 1. Like it's the lowest setting possible. And yet I am loud as hell.
You know, they do sell that Baja Blast in bottles and cans in here in Virginia.
I think they do up here now too. Like it just started recently. Yeah.
I used to buy like 3 or 4 cases, but I stopped after a while because I was like, that's not good. But at first, when it first came out, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hello, chat room. We have a pretty active chat room already this morning, which is surprising for 10 o'clock Eastern or 10:30 Eastern time. But awesome. I'm glad people could be here.
Yeah, I just now start sharing it on all social media platforms. I was like, oh, cool.
Ooh.
Got people.
Ooh, people. Eventually, what I think I'm going to attempt to do is stream this from both YouTube and Twitch, because we still get Twitch followers, even though we haven't used it in forever.
Wow. Hey, nice.
So what I'll probably end up doing is literally just streaming to YouTube and then going on my other computer and streaming the YouTube to Twitch, so that way everyone can see it. Crazy times. All right, before we get rolling, got to say a special thank you to our newest Patreon supporters, Vinny Cornwall and Amanda Gray. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Dungeon Crawler Network. You guys are the best. I know Amanda's been part of the community forever and a day. She's my, how do I want to say it? She's my homegirl. Yeah.
She doesn't like Taco Bell, though.
She doesn't like Taco Bell. Oh, yeah, that's right. We did get into a Twitter fight about Taco Bell.
We did.
Yeah.
She should move to the UK. We don't even have Taco Bell here. I don't even know what it is.
What?
It's American Mexican food.
Ah, okay.
It's like an American version of Mexican food.
I was going to say, Setsua was probably... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say they put the same thing in every single thing they have is the exact same thing, just in a different shape.
And $3 more.
Yeah. And they
really
tried it. They try to coat everything with cheese.
Well, yeah.
And that's why I love them.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't see a
that's
problem.
the only reason why.
I really don't see a problem with anything you just said. So, yeah. All right.
Cheese.
Yeah. Well, all right. We're gonna go ahead and move right on into the game news. First off, something big happened like this week, like right after episode 100, and that would be Thieves Guild drop. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
Which ironically you can't pirate. I think that would have been a great bit of PR if you could have been allowed to somehow steal the code from ZeniMax.
The Thieves Guild you cannot actually steal. So, yeah, that is a thing. American Mexican food. I love it.
That's what my wife calls it.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say,
She's Hispanic.
Yeah. So you would know. She's probably like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can make this.
I can make this and better. All right. Well, Thieves Guild did drop this week, and there was a couple big things that touched. We're not actually going to go over the notes. If you haven't read them, they are on the official forums. I like reading patch notes when it's smaller patches, but this thing was like 100 pages. So
Yeah, it was a big mama patch note summary.
yeah.
It was good.
Couple key things that I'm going to say. Every time you get a big patch, the first thing you should really do is, if you're interested in your class, scroll down to the class changes and read through your class changes, because there were some pretty big ones throughout. I know Templars got hit pretty hard, especially if you're a healing Templar. Breath of Life, Avi can...
Yeah, I healed my first dungeon with the new Templar changes, and it didn't go that bad, but it's definitely different.
Yeah,
I like it.
Are you having to
it.
focus on other healing skills now?
Yeah, but it's more how would I say? It's just better. I think it was a good change. I was nervous at first, but it's a really good change,
I understand where they went with it and why they did it, because Elder Scrolls is supposed to be you can play anything you want. The class just kind of adds a little bit of flavor. That's how I've always seen it. Some, they kind of specialize a little better, but it was to the point now. I was getting messages just because I was a Templar. Everyone just assumed I was healing. It's like, hey, you want to come heal this trial? Hey, you want to come heal this vet dungeon? Hey, we're doing White Gold Tower. You want to heal it? Like, just people in other guilds I'm part of who I've never really spoken to, so they don't really know. They were just like, oh, we need a healer. Let's just go message every Templar in the guild, So that, I can see why they changed it, because it was such a powerful ability that they wanted to change it to probably bring other classes a little bit more on par.
They want every class to be able to do everything, but certain classes can do things just a little better, because it's kind of what they're designed around. It's like the best tanks in the game are Dragonites, and the best healers are Templars, and that's kind of the way it should be. But they should all be able to do it regardless.
I play DPS, and I don't even care.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Dragon Knights, which is what I care mostly about, Pretty much everything in the patch notes for a Dragon Knight was increase. So, Burning Embers increases the heal. We've got just extended range, and it's been pretty good because I think Dragon Knights have been a little bit neglected. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
How did the whip change go? I know they changed it from fire to poison damage.
Yeah, I actually don't use that one, so I haven't personally. I think some people are pretty annoyed by it, and some people are really excited by it. For me, it's ineffective. I think it would have been more annoying back in the day when Cyrodiil was full of vampires because of their flame. What's the word? Vulnerability.
Right.
That was always quite a good one back then, but there aren't so many vampires right now in Cyrodiil, so not been that bad.
Yeah, I understand why they changed it, because if you actually look through the constellation tree, here's another thing. If you're looking at the champion point system, reread your points, because they changed some of the passives completely. And specifically the way I'm thinking is in the steed tree, I think it's the steed or it's the lady, I don't know, it's under the Lord. The one that gives you the resistances, they've changed it. Before it was like magic damage, a bunch of other stuff. Now it specifically like says physical, poison, and something else. Like they've changed the wording and what they affect. And I know poison now actually counts under the physical line. It's not considered magic damage or its own class anymore. It actually gets perks from the mighty tree, and I know that's one of the reasons why they wanted to change it, because there was a stamina morph for it, and people were like, like they were splitting their points as a Dragon Knight in order to get the magic bonuses, because it was fire damage. So if you wanted to up the damage, you had to have a thermitage, but you can't. That doesn't affect anything else for stamina, so you needed mighty. So Dragon Knights were split in between, but I know a lot of people were complaining because that also meant that the passive, one of the Dragon Knight passives that increases burning damage no longer affected that ability, because it does poison now, not burning. So I know that was a big change.
Oh, I just sold Akaviri Axe motif for 80,000 gold. Thank you very much, whoever that was.
Ooh. And speaking of, I have to bring this in because I said it pre-show. I got called out in guild last week after episode 98, the housing episode, or 99, whatever the housing episode was. Various people in guild were very quick to point out that I have grossly overestimated the wealth in the Tamrielic society. Apparently, I'm the 1%.
Not everyone's millionaire.
Occupy Tamriel. Yeah, that's so.
Occupy Tamriel.
Occupy Tamriel at the moment. Yeah, because apparently quite a few people during one of our guild events was like, "What are you talking about? The average person has 1 million gold in game," because most people I was talking to had sub 100,000 in our guild. I mean, it was a fairly large sample size too. I mean, it's not across the board, but pretty much everyone in my guild. So maybe I'm just, the lord of the manor at this point. But yeah, it's
100,000's not too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Sorry, guild, but come on.
I know. I spent $500,000 on agility stuff the other week, so like when I'm thinking 100,000, I'm like, well, that's barely anything.
It's like questing through one zone.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sell your whites and greens, break down your blues, sell it on a guild store. You'll make money. So I mean, I thought it was funny that you mentioned that, because I was called out saying that I grossly overestimated the wealth of the individual Tamrielic citizen, apparently. So
yeah, man, you need to come down to the slums someday. Just have a look. Do you even know how much rice costs and Cyrodiil grapes, whatever they're called?
I don't know. I send my Khajiit slaves to go pick it up, so I don't know. I don't care.
Exactly.
I send my Argonians.
Yeah. While they carry me around on a litter, I don't know. The teeming masses can go do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I'll toss them a coin every once in a while, for your patronage. There you are. All right.
Imperial snob.
I'm a Nord, thank you, but yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of fits because all of Cyrodiil has that Romanesque feel to it, so I was kind of playing off of that. So, yeah. I'm the worst of that. All right, speaking of a few things that we're going to talk about here with Thieves Guild. They released an article last week called Thieves Guild Deep Dive Cyrodiilic Improvements. And a couple of things that we're going to talk about is they added a new merchant, which is a Khajiit, so I'm not even going to mention her name, but she's the Golden. Obviously, Avi was asking if I could take screenshots for him because he wanted to see what she looks like.
Yeah, and good graphics.
In good graphics. Yeah, so they introduced a new merchant that is selling rare items. And they will appear in Cyrodiil for 2 days over the weekend. So they show up like Friday night and they leave on Monday morning. And I actually wanted to mention what they're selling right now. But if you're not watching live, you're going to have a hard time even, keeping up. Because by the time this podcast goes live, she'll be gone. But right now she's selling the Nirnith helm from the Crypt of Hearts is what she's selling. And it has
What trait?
infused.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Infused right now.
And that's
She's
selling for how much?
It's like
Was it
100,000 gold, 99 whatever.
I should pick that up.
It's
Can
VR6.
you get it in? Can you get it in medium, light, and heavy? Or is
Yep, it
just
has
one,
all
right?
three. All three of them.
Wow.
They're also selling some of the other sets as well. There's 2 other sets. I think there's a marksman set, and there's one other that I can't remember what it is at the moment. And they all have divines on it. So it's kind of like best trait you can get. KDR Mickey says, mead-induced dissolution ag on a litter carried by slave Khajiit. Yeah, that seems about right. I just assumed everyone's rich. Here, take a Drake. There you go. Yeah. So I will mention it each week. I'll make a note to actually mention it. But if you're not watching live, you're probably going to miss it. Because by the time I get the episode out, I'll try to get it out in the evening. But again, by the time you listen to the show, it's probably going to be over. Because we do record on Sundays, and Sunday's the last day. But yeah, if you haven't got a chance, the Nirnith helm, or whatever it is, as my cat just knocks over things, is on sale right now. Not on sale, but she's selling it. All 3 versions with infused. So yeah.
Yeah, this one Khajiit travels across all of Cyrodiil and sells people helmets. This one Khajiit.
One Khajiit.
How does she do it?
I don't know. Magic. Daedric portals. She's crazy. So
I guess she uses way shrines.
maybe. She teleports to the different generals. She's on the friends list and just teleport to player.
Oh.
Yeah, but you'll find her in one of the camps. I found her in the Southern Morrowind camp. That's where I found her. But yeah, so she's there now. Let me continue to look through my Thieves Guild stuff. They reintroduced forward camps. The difference with these forward camps is you may only respawn at a forward camp if you're within the radius when you die, which is a good change. When you choose to respawn at a forward camp, there will be a 2-minute timer preventing you from respawning at any other forward camp again until the timer expires. And forward camps degrade faster than regular siege weapons, so use them wisely.
I heartily erect the spine of gratitude for this change, because this makes a big difference, a really big difference, like for the enemy, which makes them more challenging, but also for anyone who is sort of inside a keep that's had the wall rebuilt by the enemy outside the keep. For anyone who knows what that means, this makes a huge strategic difference. So I'm very, very excited about this.
Well, that's good. Seems like a good change. It seems like a good change.
Yeah.
Compared to how they were before, because I know there was a lot of uproar about the old way forward camps used to be.
That's because people used them to death port. Like, you'd port all the way across the map. You'd be on the southern side of Cyrodiil, and someone's like, oh, let's attack one of the northern keeps. Someone will send a spy up there, they'll drop, and all of a sudden an entire raid group ports all the way across Cyrodiil.
Yeah, it's much more balanced, I think, now. I mean, I never actually used the original ones, but from understanding how they worked and how the game is currently being played, it definitely seems like a better system. So I'm in favor of this. This is good.
Nice. Final change for Thieves Guild. Azure Star is now the all non-veteran, and all non-veteran campaigns are non-champion point.
Azure Star was my guild's home, so this is disappointing.
I actually made my home on Azure Star because I like the non-champion point.
That's because you don't have a lot of champion points.
This is true. So I wreck face over there.
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys in my guild was saying that the benefit this has to guilds is that it means that players can play in veteran campaigns, but they can more easily switch between roles because they're not limited by where they put their champion points in. So if you end up in a 24-man raid where 20 of you are DPS and or tank, and you really need healers, it's more easy for one of those characters with maybe a tank to switch to being a healer. And or easier for an armored tank to switch to being a DPS or something like that. Which I get and it makes sense, but to me it feels like it undermines the whole need to have champion points. I've built my character around being able to do very high damage with an 80% crit rating, which means that I'm squishy. But when I go in, I can just annihilate people. But I need support. It kind of just dulls everyone down to a general average that personally I prefer the alternative to, but hey, it's about choice, right?
Right. I like that. I mean, I really do. All right. Let's see. They already did this, but in the beginning of the week, they pretty much said do not assign yourself to any of these 5 campaigns. That was Solaris, Kashmir, Oriel's Bow, Bloodthorn, and Bow of Shadows, because they were being removed. I remember them that they were released when the game first came out. Oh, by the way, here's a second Khajiit. He just showed up. Hello. Hello. Hello, yes. He's Almari Dominion, so he's trying to sabotage me right now. Sabotage! Look out. There he is. He's just looking up at the camera.
Strangle him quickly before he breeds.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, he scratched me.
They'll do that.
Yeah, poison claws. What's going on here? He crit me at least, because that's what they got.
And still in your million gold as well when your back's turned.
Yeah, I know, right? And you know what's really funny? I just realized this while we were talking about it. This entire show, I've been eating strawberries, so I'm just sitting here going, "Oh my goodness!" Now it's even worse. I'm daintily eating fruit while everyone else is talking. Yes, this is awful. Way to strengthen the stereotype there, Ag. Good job. All right, moving on, we have a few more pieces of news here concerning Thieves Guild. I don't have it on the show notes for you guys. I'm sorry, I just saw it this morning.
Yeah, thanks.
I know. They released a hotfix after the patch to fix a lot of the frames per second issues that were happening. They pushed out the hotfix to address some of the poor frame rate issues you may have when you run into since Thieves Guild was released. This will improve the FPS on both 32-bit and 64-bit clients. So there was a small patch, and I'm not really had any real issues other than the 64-bit client with the textures.
Oh my god, yeah, that's a problem.
Everything's pink.
Everything is pink. Everything is pink.
Wow, my Khajiit just muted my mic. See, she just wants me to shut up. Don't you? I'm just gonna strangle you. That's right.
Trying to be silenced.
I'm gonna strangle this cat. He just sits there and lets me strangle him. He's into that. Aren't you?
Get a tavern.
It's a boy cat.
We know what he does with his slaves now.
Yeah.
No wonder you've got 1 million gold.
I know, right? That's right. That's right.
I really want to make a Donald Trump joke right now, but
wow.
Go for it. What you get?
Man, with my Khajiit, he's so cute. All right. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh yes. One last thing that ZOS has admitted that the drop rate is of almost half of the new Outlaw motif chapters is bugged. And they will fix it, but they're waiting until after the weekend, so they'll probably do it during the Monday maintenance. So if you've been out trying to farm the new Outlaw motif from the champion bosses out there, the rate's bugged, so I don't know if you're getting too many or you're not getting enough. They didn't really say.
I think I may have found that already.
What are you doing, Khajiit? I'm doing a show. Yeah, I'm trying to find where it says if it's been broken or not. Like, I haven't been doing it, so I don't know if it feels like it's not enough or if it's too much. But from what I've been gathering, I was talking to a Rage Philosophy from Elder Scrolls Off the Record, and they said that they were doing a guild event. Seriously? During the show. Just knocking stuff off my desk. I have too many Khajiit. There's one behind me. There's one right here. Yes. And I can't find out if it's too little or too few, but from what most people are saying is I know one is bugged where it's not dropping like at all. But it's just one page apparently. I don't know about the others. But that has also been a known issue.
Well, let me tell you, there's something else just while we're talking about drop rates. On a related note, if you are a crafter and you want high-end mats, then you need to get this DLC soon, because the crafting nodes, the nodes for Rubidite and everything else, and runes, they are everywhere. I mean, absolutely everywhere. Like, I would, just before we started recording the show, I was saying, in my view right now, I can see an aspect rune, or like 2 aspect runes, ruby ash, a columbine, and rubidite. I mean, it's just everywhere. How many have I got so far, just since we've been recording this? Let me have a look. I've got 115 rubidite ores, 92 rough ruby ash, and 55 ancestor silk, and 52 rubido hide scraps from enemies. So, and that's in, how long have we been recording?
About 20 or 30 minutes.
20 minutes. That includes the time we were on Skype for about 20 minutes before that. So maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how many I've got by the time we end recording, but it's pretty good.
That's probably why I noticed the price on Rubidite ore dropped almost 60 gold per. It's down to like 40 something on the US mega server, and it's probably why.
I almost guarantee that is why, because it's great and it's brilliant. So I mean, if you're getting those for money, obviously that's a problem for you. But if you've got all the passive lines in crafting and you're able to get a higher chance of high-end, like, what do they call them? Tempers and all that sort of things from refining the raw material. This is great because you'll just get so many that you've got a really high chance of getting like some good high-end resins and all that kind of stuff out of this, which you can then still sell for a lot of money. So it's pretty good.
KDR Mickey came to the rescue here, and he let me know the large group from Shark's Tooth Grotto is not dropping. So legs, staves, and a few other pieces are currently not available. That is what's the issue is right now. So yeah. So thank you, KDR Mickey, for that, because I wasn't sure. I just knew there were some issues with it. Yeah. As I'm trying to frantically text my mom, sorry everyone.
That's all right. I'll cover for you.
All right.
I've just found another 12 rubidite ores just since we were talking about it just then.
Nice.
So I'll read out my numbers at the end of the show. Remind me. This is what Ancestor Silk.
All right. I'm back.
Notebook.
Handy dandy notebook. Yeah, sorry about that. My mom was texting me because my little milk drinker, for those who didn't know, on Thursday I didn't do any guild events, and Friday I didn't show up because my little one was very sick, had a really high fever, so she was just like, "Is he okay?" So I'm like, frantically messaging because he's doing better now. He's still got his little skin condition from one of the things that we're hoping that gets taken care of pretty soon, but he's a happy boy. All right, a little bit more news. Let's see here. If you didn't realize this, and unfortunately this is another thing that if you are not listening live and you're listening to the podcast, I believe this goes away no, I think it's Monday. I don't know what time Monday, but the 14th. There is a 40% off Crown Store packs, and ESO is 50% off right now. So if you've been saving up, it's a good time to buy stuff. I bought like 3 packs of crowns because, I mean, if you think about it, at least in the U.S., I'm going to give U.S. denominations. You'll have to do your conversions. Sorry, Nate.
No, I've looked them up.
Yeah.
I looked them up and I bought some.
Nice. Originally, 5,500 crowns was $39.99, $40 for 5,500 crowns. Well, right now it's like $23.99 for that much. So for essentially $5 more, you get double the amount of what you would before. So it's like, oh my goodness. So I stocked up.
Yeah, it's the same in the UK as well. 5,500 crowns is normally £21.49, and currently there are £14. So a good saving. I bought 5,500 just because.
Well, yeah, I mean that'll get you for any new Crown Store items for a while, and it's a cheaper price. So,
Yeah.
All right, I'm buying them.
Sorry.
Talked me into it.
I mean, it's a good deal. It's 40% off. So
it's a great deal, and it's about to end. So I gotta get the.
Yeah, if you're interested in buying any, right now would be the time to do it because it's 40% off. And if you have a friend who's interested in ESO, now might be a good time to pick it up as well because it's half off. So, I mean, technically speaking, half off. Make them buy ESO at full price. They'll have enough crowns to buy, like, at least 2 of the DLCs, I think it is. You know what I mean? 5,500 crowns, they could buy Hrothgar and Thieves Guild to add to their thing right now for what they would normally pay for ESO. So, it's a good time right now.
The reason I wanted to buy some is, I mean, I was spending them every now and again on Sigic Ambrose and the Crown experience potion scroll things.
Right.
But then decided to just do it in-game instead and brew the Sigic Ambrosia, which is actually, once you get into doing that, it actually makes a lot more sense to do it, as long as you've got the skill line to do that. But for me, it's once they come to housing, you know there's going to be a ton of stuff in that Crown Store for housing, and man, am I going to make sure I've got some discounted crowns ready to drop for that, because...
It's like the Black Friday sale. I did the same thing when they offered the Black
exactly.
Friday sale. I'm like, well, yeah. I bought myself one. I bought Thais like 2 packs because essentially for the Black Friday sale, I bought 3 packs for the price of like 1.5. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay.
Oh, it's such a dreamboat. That's so romantic, buying crowns for each other. That's lovely.
Well, when we get to play together, that's what we like to do. And I know I need to actually buy her some more. I'm probably going to buy another pack for her today so that she can get the Thieves Guild.
I need my credit card. Where are you?
Nice.
There we go.
All right. 2 little bits of news yet before we move on. They announced we actually did an article called Meet the ESO Million Reasons to Play Grand Prize Winner. And it's pretty neat. It's just like a little bio that they did, like a little interview for the guy who actually won the Million Reasons to Play. It's neat. I actually liked it. It's just a nice little thing. And
He took my money.
He took my money. Yep. So, see, here's the problem though. He's playing a Dark Elf Dragon Knight.
I got 2 of those.
Yeah.
I don't play them. I don't play them at all. But I got 2 of those.
Well. Anyway, there we go, guys. So
Speechless.
I don't know. It is what it is. But congratulations to the winner. If you're interested in reading the article, it's on the official online or Elder Scrolls Online page. It's a neat little read. It's just like a little bio on the guy. If you're really interested, you can check it out. So it's nice to put a face to the winner, and go from there. Our final bit of news is they released this last week. It was a creating ESO Maul of Lorkhaj, and I love these things because they were one of my favorite parts of the game. When the game was not out yet, I loved reading these. But before we do that, I think we have a little video to play. Yes, there it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So that was the little intro video for the Mall of Lorkhaj. It's actually really neat looking. Like, visually wise, they did a fantastic job with it. And I know in this article they go back and forth talking a little bit about how they, with the past year or so that the game's been out, that they have a lot of player feedback and things that they changed, such as adding the normal and veteran modes for Mall of Lorkhaj, similar to Maelstrom Arena and veteran Dragonstar Arena, which is very, very cool. And if you've not had a chance to play it on the PTS or live, it is fairly difficult, and it's really neat. Nate, I think you and we have some homework to do.
Yeah, man, we've got some big homework to do.
I'm thinking, like, I would love to do like a lore expose on the Mall of Lorkhaj, so I think I'm gonna have to hop in there and start just going nuts about the lore for this thing. So yeah, we need to work on that because I'm reading through it right now, and there's some really neat lore, and I love Khajiit lore because it's just fantastic. So for people who watch the show and like lore, stay tuned because I think this is something that we're definitely going to have to do, is look at the lore of this thing from a little bit more of a deep understanding of it. I just have to get in game and see if there's any books and stuff available for me to comb through. So, Nate, that's what we're working on. That's our homework.
All right, you got it.
All right, so if you haven't got a chance, you can read out the whole thing, get to see some concept art for the Mall of Lorkhaj in the latest creating ESO. And in case you're curious, Lorkhaj is the name of Lorkhan in the Khajiit pantheon. So, he's a little trickster cub.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, that's the end of the news. So we're going to go ahead and roll right into our Tales section of what we did this week. I'm going... Setsua, did you get any playtime in this week at all, or no?
No, not for Elder Scrolls, sadly. I've been kind of on the Division way too much.
Gotcha.
It just came out, so I've been on it for like about 5-6 hours a day, maybe more.
Gotcha. All right. Well, then we'll skip you. And I'll go next because I didn't have as much time as I would have liked. Pretty much the only real game time, other than when I log in and do my crafting dailies every day, was I got the ability to run on our pledge night on Tuesday, and thanks, sweet not yet born baby Talos, I love cross faction. It's fantastic. We normally struggled before to get... We'd have enough for a group, and then there were some people we'd have to run a couple times because we never really had enough people to fill all the roles. We were either short on healers. We had 16 people show up, and we ran 4 full groups with a couple groups showing up late to the event, and we ran more groups again. So I think we were looking somewhere like 21, 22 people showed up for our pledge night, which was fantastic. And I actually think we had an overabundance of healers. We actually had to make a couple healers go DPS. So that was an interesting thing that we had to go through. I'm trying to remember, what were all the dungeons? One of them was Crucible, and the other one was...
I'm having a hard time remembering myself. I even have it on my notes. It's like, we ran, ?
We ran. I know it was Crucible, and
That was the non-vet, right?
That was the non-vet, and I think it was Elden Hollow, I think.
No, I don't think so. It wasn't Elden Hollow.
I'm trying to remember what the final boss was. Oh, no, I remember what it was. Crypt of Hearts. Crypt of Hearts.
Yep.
Because I remember, because you know why? Because we did it on VR1, because our tank was only VR1, which was fine. But we killed the boss. The helm dropped for me, and it had divines. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I got a divine's helm. And then I didn't even think about the level scaling until Ray was like, it's a shame it's VR1. I was like, son of a...
That was too classic.
Perfect trait. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. VR1. You gotta be kidding me. So that was pretty much my game time for this week. I didn't get to do my Thursday night event, as I posted on Twitter and some other people knew. My son was very, very ill. He had a very high fever. So for Thursday and Friday, I wasn't on the game at all because I was taking care of the little man. Unfortunate in both regards, because not that playing is obviously a lot less important, but the fact he was sick was not a good reason to not, was a very bad reason at all for not playing. If I had a choice for not playing, it would hopefully not be that. So that was unfortunate.
Right.
But his fever broke, so he's back down to his milk drinkery self. And I actually heard him upstairs, practicing his Thum. I specifically said to him yesterday, because he was doing his little happy screams, going, "Listen, you use your inside voice. We only use Thums when we're outside or to kill dragons. That's it." I had to sit him down and have that conversation.
The killing dragons talk.
Yeah, I've had to do that with my son.
It's a good talk to have while they're young.
You can never have that conversation Thum enough.
No. So yeah, that was pretty much my week. I didn't have a whole lot other than I did try to. I got all my characters now that are at least veteran rank 1 up to Hrothgar, so they can turn in the crafting daily for cooking, because I have max cooking on all my characters because it's so easy to actually do. So they turn that in every day. Making some money, selling stuff on guild stores. I'm, as of right now, because I did buy, I was a little over $1 million. I'm down to like 950,000 because I had to buy.
You're
some
broke
stuff
right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So that was my game time. Avi, what about you?
I got a jackal.
A jackal?
I got a jackal.
Jackal? It's a jackal.
The jackal.
Jackal.
Yeah, I got a jackal, and I got the what was the pet you told me to buy? The dog.
Oh, the Mark Arth
dog?
bear dog. Yeah.
Bear dog. Yeah, I picked that up too. He's a really cool looking companion. I recommend to everybody to pick him up. Totally worth the, I think, 700 crowns that he is. So
He's one of my favorite pets. He always follows me around.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have him and the jackal now. They're like my 2 guys. And the Netch. The baby Netch is always going to be my favorite companion. But
I just remembered one more thing I did. I'm going to interrupt you just briefly. I turned all my female characters into slutty little matrons. I put on the different outfits because I bought like all the costumes for them. So like one of them's wearing the low collar dress, the one that comes up like this. My Altmer that looks like my wife, and the reason why I put him in that dress is because she bought that dress on the Crown store for her character. So the Altmer that looks like her now wears that same little low cut dress, and my Dunmer has one of the like the Song of the Night ensemble on, and my Breton has like the high collar Breton outfit on. So they're all scantily clad.
well, that's a good interruption right there.
Yeah, I figured I'd let you know. They're just my banking alts, but right now they're all, every time I log in, they're wearing dresses and things like that. So they're very attractive. So it makes the banking time go quicker.
Definitely. Something to look at. Alright, so yeah, and just like you, I also did the pledge night too. It was finally good to go out and be able to have a day off to do an event. And yeah, like you said, it was a huge turnout. We had 4 groups. I got to heal, and luckily I didn't have to DPS. I got to heal for my first time without Breath of Life being my #1 oh shit button. Even though it still works as a very good oh shit button to heal your tank. So, if your tank starts getting low, just smack that Breath of Life. It will take it up. So it was a really good time. It was nice just hanging out with everybody. We had Ray and Bagheera from Dancing with Daggers. We had.
I was drunk that night too because I was drinking mead.
I was pretty damn drunk that night too. me and Aggelos were both pretty drunk. I think they were like, "Well, let's run more dungeons," and I was like, "You know what, guys? The screen is like moving on me. I gotta get off. I gotta get off of this thing before I start getting sick from looking at all the motion moving." But it was a good time. I took full advantage of that day off with everybody, and I got Tuesday off this week too. So
woo, more pledges.
I'm doing it again.
Yeah, you're off Wednesday, right? Too.
I'm off Wednesday too.
Good, because it's drinking and fishing with Ag Night.
It's gonna be good times.
So guild event on Wednesday nights now. Tuesdays we have guild pledges, which are now cross faction. So every event is cross faction, with the exception of my fishing and cooking one. It's EP. but you really only need like a level 1 character. We'll get you
Fishing
anywhere you need to go.
Fishing and cooking.
Fishing and drinking. Sorry, I'm
Like,
not
wow,
cooking
are we
anything.
gonna be cooking
Maybe later.
now?
I don't know. I don't know. When I drink, I get hungry. So who knows?
Yeah, the other night goes.
So yeah, Wednesdays we're doing fishing and drinking. So if it's actually just gonna be a time for us to hop into TeamSpeak together, have a beer in hand or whatever you're drinking. We're gonna go out and fishing for achievements and maybe even make some money by getting perfect row to make Sidric Ambrosias, which is something I will do for you if you do not have the Sidric Ambrosia. If you get perfect row, I have the crafting trait. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing it, to help people either level or make money. Your choice. I have the crafting trait, so when you get 1 perfect row, I'll make you 4 of the Sidric Ambrosias, and then you can either use or sell them. So I know when more people fish together in groups, it's actually a higher chance of getting rare items and things like that. So that's kind of the purpose behind it, is to just socialize with people in the guild and maybe get money. So even if you don't have the Sidric Ambrosia, I do. So I will make you the Ambrosias just because I can.
And if you're on go ahead, Nate.
If you're on the EU mega server and you also want somebody to do that, then message me in game and tell them that you listen to the podcast, and I will also make you Sidric Ambrosias for no fee, as long as you send the perfect row. I can also do that.
Yeah.
And I'm in game at Lanxon 101, by the way. LANXON 101. You can find that on Twitter and on the blog and stuff.
Yep. So there we go.
Gonna be a good time.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, I still have those 2 perfect rows from the last time we went fishing on the previous episode when I caught
You never
them
sent them to me.
I know. I don't think I've even really played that character much since.
Well, I can make you perfect row, so you can use them to get champion points, or whatever the case may be.
It sounds good to me. We'll do that.
Yeah.
I also did some Thieves Guild.
Ooh.
But the graphics, my graphics, like I've always talked about on this show, are pretty bad. So it's kind of been throwing me off. Like,
Not for long.
I know I have the new computer in my near future, so I'm kind of hesitant from actually going through with the full Thieves Guild.
Mhm.
So yeah, but I played it. I played it a decent amount. I really like Quinn, the female that you meet right in the beginning of the quest line. You meet her, and she pretty much takes you to Abba's Landing if you don't fast travel there yourself, which you should not do. You should do the full thing because it takes you to a really cool. I talked about it before, the Frostback something, and it's like a little mini part of Skyrim. It's kind of like a tutorial for the Thieves Guild where they introduce you to the trespassing and all that fun stuff. And then I also got the Thieves Guild
Question:
costume.
Where is the quest? Because I was actually just thought about that. I'm like, I should really go pick that up.
Just go to a thieves den.
Oh, the Outlaw Refuge. Okay.
Yeah, the Outlaw Refuge, and you'll see Quinn, and then she'll tell you to meet her in East March on the docks.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
that will take you to a little like tutorial zone. So, and it's really fun. She's
No,
a really interesting character. She's like a ninja. She runs up and jumps on walls. It's like there's so many effects that you're like, whoa! I've never seen something like that happen in this game before. So it's really interesting. I don't want to talk too much spoilers or anything, but I got the costume too. The costume's awesome. It kind of looks like Crafty Larissa's costume, just with a lot more detail. So I really like it. It's the perfect Thieves.
I know I've been really critical, at least when the game first came out, of their armor design, and I still think they could up it. But they've done a lot better in the most recent renditions of armor than they did on the release stuff. So, like I said, the Crafty Larissa was kind of like, it's just Dunmer medium. But with these newer costumes, and not just the costumes, but the armor sets and motifs that are coming out, they've upped their game using the engine that they have. So, it's a lot nicer. So, yeah,
it's really nice. I like it. I have her wearing it right now. She has that, and she has her Jackal. And she's living a good life,
I think you just came up with the title for this show.
It's a Jackal.
It's a Jackal. Jackal? I'm gonna write that down.
I love Quinn, I have to say. She's
great.
She's a great character. She's a high elf, which is a shame, but she's very cool. She's got a great outfit. I love it. She's got these like 3 belts that sort of go across her chest, and it's kind of like, I think it's probably like medium armor sort of thing. It's all red and brown. It's great. Although her name's short for Queneth, I think. I don't think her name is actually Quen. I think it's called Quen. You only ever hear her called Quen in the game, but I looked into her background, and her name's actually Queneth.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, my graphics are so bad. I thought she was a wood elf.
Oh,
No.
Not even gonna lie. But now, you know, she is tall.
yeah.
So I guess that does make sense. Yeah, she's an awesome character, even for a high elf. You know, she doesn't act like one.
No, she's good. She's quite emotional. She's got a good backstory. Yeah, I'll come to her in my tales, but it's
Nice.
she's good.
And Avi, like, I don't know if you've seen the show afterwards, but in the center box, I always have these high quality screenshots that were taken in the game. I can't wait for you to get your new PC so you can actually experience like what these screenshots, because screenshots are great when you look at them, but being there in game and seeing the subtle shifts in light is just amazing.
I'm purchasing my graphics card today, so
Nice.
either today or tomorrow. So that will be my very first piece.
Nice.
And then it will go from there. And it will be beautiful.
It
Then
is-
I'll have you and Nate jump on a call with me and help me build it so it doesn't blow up.
Oh, you'll
Yeah.
be fine. We'll get it. We'll get it together for you.
Definitely.
But ESO, I honestly think, is one of the best looking MMOs out there. Period. Like, I know some of the newer, the Korean ones, like the fake with some nice graphics. I know like Black Desert's pretty nice, but ESO is just absolutely gorgeous. Like, if you put it up to max and seeing everything, it is fantastic. So
It is. I bought my rig specifically to play Elder Scrolls Online. So I bought I've got like a 35-inch. It's like a ultra wide curved monitor and 2 NVIDIA GTX 980s in SLI, just so I can just ramp everything full on to max and just experience it. And it's pretty much the only thing I use this machine for. And it is just glorious. Like, when you can turn up those graphics, you're in for a treat. I'm so excited for you. It's going to change your life.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited. I mean, I play on the PS4 too, and the PS4 has pretty good graphics when it comes to ESO.
Yeah.
But I mostly just do that I play it like Skyrim, so
yeah.
it's going to be a lot different when I finally get on and I finally get to see like the dungeons.
But
and
there are
everything.
even graphics mods, if you will, through SweetFX. If it's something you're interested in, I know we do a tutorial on DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com showing people how to install SweetFX if you've not done it or you're not tech savvy. And you can really tweak the settings. It's just a graphics injector, so it's fine to use. It doesn't actually do anything with the game. We've actually even asked the community team, like, is this okay? And they're like, oh yeah, it doesn't do anything. It's just, it only affects your side.
I haven't tried this. What is this magic you speak of?
SweetFX is actually a graphics enhancer, like it's an injector, similar to what some of the built-in cards have. Like, I know NVIDIA has their own little program that essentially does similar things, where you can actually change the lighting settings in games and graphic settings to fit what you like. There's a bunch of different shades. Let me see if I can find a link for you.
I've got that in my NVIDIA settings, because, yeah, I've got it optimized through NVIDIA rather than through the in-game control panel. But this SweetFX thing sounds... Ooh, Reputa, thank you very much. I think I'll be having you.
I'm trying to find one for ESO that's on here, because there's a whole bunch of different games and people have done presets. If you're really good with settings on your own, you can make your own preset. Where is it at? Yeah.
Should I quit out of the game and try this now while we're podcasting?
If you want
Or does it take time?
It does take a little bit of time. It's not something that's really quick, but reshade.me/SweetFX. I'm trying to find if there's anything neat.
Reshade.me. Okay, I'm gonna find this. This is a sidetrack, but this is a very interesting one.
It's just interesting because with the PC you can do some of this stuff, and I'm trying to find some comparison. Like, if you here's a perfect comparison, which is actually from Dungeon Crawler Network. What do you know? They showed a video here. I'm actually gonna post it into chat for people to actually see, because they showed a comparison of when you do these different things, and I'm actually going to post it here real quick for you, Nate. in chat. There you go. It's just the picture showing the difference of what sweet effects can do. Like, it can really crisp some things up, and you'll see the difference, like sweet effects off, sweet effects on.
Wow,
and showing you what it can do.
Wow, that is lovely, isn't it?
A lot of what it does is removes the fog of war within here for that adds that haze, so it sharpens up a bunch of stuff. So you can actually do this with ESO, and you can make it look fantastic. I've seen people do this. I've run it on mine.
I'm going to do it right now.
So for anyone's interested, we do actually have a video. I know Krabby is working on another one because there is an updated version for DirectX 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This one will work, but there's more presets you can do when it fully utilizes DirectX 11.
Should I get that one?
If you can, but you may have to.
Is that out?
It is out, but one of the preset sites is broken. But if you're good at doing it by yourself, I would stick with the 9 one if you don't know how to do it yourself. But like, there's like lots of settings and sliders and stuff, so you can adjust. The presets are things people made, going, these are the best presets that I found, and this is what I want my game to look like. So here's a preset, and it does it all for you. If you're not tech savvy or know what the bars do, sometimes it might be better to do that.
I'm really arrogant. I'm sure I can work it out.
I figured you'd be fine. Yeah, you'd be
I'm
fine.
gonna do it now.
All right, but it's pretty sick. Now, one thing to take note of is you can't launch the game from the launcher. You have to launch it from the EXE.
That's fine.
Yeah, so that's I know some people were like, "Oh, it doesn't work. I hit the key to turn it on. It doesn't work." And people are like, "Did you launch it from the launcher?" And that's the main thing. So, yeah. So there you go. Something that's interesting that you'll be able to do with your PC if you're interested in Avi when you get that.
I'll definitely.
Should I use the 32-bit XE or the 64?
Right now 32, because remember the 64 is not really working.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
Yeah. So, yeah, you can mess around and do some really neat stuff with it. So, something neat, and that's something you can only do with not PlayStation, PC, is customize the graphics to an extent. Because like I said, it's just an injector. It shows what you're seeing, and it affects your settings using your graphics card. So it's a really neat product. So I know we posted on the forums, and everyone's like, "Oh, you can't use that's a third party," and no, you can, because you can look on the forums. They've even said you can actually use this product because it's not a third party that does anything to the game. It just changes your visuals. It's no different than playing on a monitor that only shows black and white. I don't know why you would have one, but whatever. So yeah, continue, Avi. Do you have anything else you want to add to that?
No. That is my gameplay. Buying a new computer, got a Jackal. Quinn is awesome, and Pledge Night was great.
Nice.
That sums it up.
Before we get to Nate, I'll just, because he's actively working on sweet effects right now, just giving a little shout out for the Wings of Fate Guild. If you're interested in joining, we actually have quite a few people who came on after episode like 99 or 100 when we started doing all this stuff. We do have guild events that run almost every night of the week now, with the exception of weekends. We leave those open. Tuesday nights is our pledge night. That's 8 o'clock Eastern time. We run pledges as a group. I mean, obviously you can run pledges whenever you want, but we do it as a group. We all get in team speak, we pair off groups, and we just have fun. It's a good time. Wednesday is a new event that I'm going to be starting, is fishing and drinking. So it's more of a social mixer, if you will, in the game, where we'll all hop into team speak. We'll sit down in game. We'll pick a zone, and we'll just go fishing. Maybe get some achievements. If anyone gets perfect row, I will make them Sigic Ambrosias so that you can either use or sell them. It will be on the EP side, but to go fishing, you really don't need a high-level character, because if we're going to pick zones, and if we go to a zone that's a veteran rank, well, then it might be different, which the only zone that actually limits you on that is if we decide to fish in Cold Harbor. You have to at least be finish the story to get to Cold Harbor, or fishing in Kraglorn are the only two that actually have restrictions. Everything else you can get to. So, and there's plenty of zones in the game. So we'll be going around different zones and fishing and just doing whatever. So getting to see the sights and all that fun stuff. Thursday night is EP World Event Night, which is we'll go out and do world bosses either in Imperial City, Rothgar, Abba's Landing, or Craglorn, whatever I decide I feel like doing. I often put a poll up. This week will be Imperial City again because I didn't run last week. But the votes did pull out that Imperial City was what people like to do, and Imperial City is tons of fun. So you need an EP character, but you only need to have Imperial City DLC and be level 10 to get into Cyrodiil. And we brought low levels. It's all good. And Friday nights is our endgame night, cross-faction. We do trials, so come on out. All those events are 8:30 p.m. Eastern, except for fishing and cooking with or fishing and drinking. I'm not cooking. That's 9 o'clock Eastern, so p.m. Eastern. So come on out, have a good time. Nate.
Yeah.
How was your game time this week?
It was good. I've played a lot of Thieves Guild, and I love it. I prefer it to Orsinium rather. I'm having a lot of fun. Me and my brother were playing. We probably played about 10, 11 hours through the main quests, through the 2 dungeons. We haven't done more of Lorkhaj, because I really need to read up and train up a bit for that because it's pretty brutal. Plus, doing it with 2 people, obviously, not going to happen. I love it. I think it's my favorite of the story-based expansions so far. The characters are very interesting. There's a great rivalry between 2 of the main characters throughout the story that is a lot of fun. There's a lot of kind of passive conversations that some of the characters have between them that you can just sort of overhear that feels just very immersive, very good, good fun. And it's great. Plus, I have to say, the crafting nodes that are just everywhere it's strangely satisfying. I mean, I'm just picking up tons and tons and tons and tons, which is great. Haven't done much Cyrodiil. Normally, I play a lot of Cyrodiil, but I haven't done much of that since the patch went live. Mostly because I've been very busy, and also because I've been playing Thieves Guild. But hopefully, do a bit of that over the coming few days. What else have I done? I'm sure there was something
actually
else.
have a question for you on Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the passive skill line? Do you feel like do you have a lot of points into it, or are you doing Thieves Guild without it?
Not yet. I haven't done much with it. I've acquired all the ones I can get. What I would say is that you need quite a lot of skill points in order to max it out. 2 of them, I think, have 4 levels you can get, and the rest are either single skills or maybe one of them have a couple. But you need quite a lot of skill points, and you do get quite a few skill points as you go through the main quest. I think probably the most interesting thing about the Thieves Guild skill line is that a lot of it, things like the selling your wares and things like that, that will affect you even if you're not doing like the main quests. Getting more gold for the stuff that you're flogging. That's pretty neat. And we did one of the heists, which is probably the most interesting addition in the DLC, I'd say, because it's timed. And although it's timed, you can reduce the timer gets reduced almost to 0 if you get spotted by the enemy. And it's really satisfying, and there's no map, so you can't use a map to find your way around. So unlike a lot of the delves, where even if they're big, you're basically just learning the mechanics and you learn the path and find the fastest route and this sort of thing, you can't do that with these heists. They're new areas, and they are free of a map, so you can't, you have to memorize your route and discover it yourself. If you get spotted, if you get seen, then the timer gets reduced and reduced and reduced, and if you get reduced too much, then you don't get the bonus. So there's a real feeling of threat. You can't just go in all guns blazing, with 500 champion points and the best armor in the game and just get the same rewards. You have to be sneaky, which is the aim of it. And I don't know. I didn't play on the PTS because I just didn't have time to really get into it in any great detail, but. For me, that's probably the thing I'm most looking forward to, spending a bit more time with solo, so that I can, really focus on being sneaky, and it's good fun. So I've done some of those as well this week.
Very nice, very nice.
Somebody is asking. Oh no, you were asking in the chat. how do you guys feel about the skill line? And no, it's not necessarily necessary for completing the DLC, but it does benefit you a little bit if you have some of the perks, like your bounty going down faster. That's quite useful as well. That's quite a good one.
I assume some of the other perks, such as like medium armor that reduces sneaking and stuff, like it may help, but I know the clairvoyant guys, doesn't matter what your sneaking radius is. It's just, so I'm kind of curious if people like who are wearing all heavy armor, who don't have those perks, who naturally don't have as good of sneaking, are they going to be able to compete, or do you think that people need to pretty much run Nightblades?
No, you can do it, because I'm running medium armor, but I don't have any. I've never been a fan of sneaky, to be honest. So I'm not doing anything special. The thing that I find frustrating, because it makes things a bit too easy, is when you're in sneak, there are two different things that happen when you're around guards. One, the guards have got kind of a visible field of view. So as long as you sneak outside of this kind of blue circle on the ground, kind of like, avoid the red circles when you're in a dungeon, well, avoid the blue circles if you're in sneak. It's exactly the same principle. And it does kind of make it a little easy to know how to avoid the guards. And I find that to be a little frustrating, actually. I'd like that to be disabled. It adds a bit more threat. But the thing that's more annoying, and I kind of wish they'd change this, is that the AI for the guards is so stupid that it almost breaks the game to me. Because I'll give you an example. You've got a guard chasing after you. You've got a high bounty. You've got I'd found a yellow crafting motif, Imperial. It's worth several tens of thousands. I'd found it in a drawer. I hadn't got time to launder it. I was being chased by a guard. I was like panicking, like, no, like this isn't just stealing some lockpicks or some materials. This is like tens of thousands of gold I could get for this. So I want to keep this. You can jump into these hiding spots, so like giant baskets or tubs and all sorts of things all around. And even if a guard is running right behind you, right up to the hiding spot, and you get in, they'll just go, oh, well,
yeah, I noticed that.
Where's he gone? And then they just walk off. And it's like, dude, I'm in this basket. You literally saw me get in. You could probably smell the wicker as I leapt into the top. Why did you not just lift open the barrel to see if I was in there? And I kind of hope that they just get rid of that, or just make the AI smarter. Like, they really should. If they see you, they should be able to find you. Like, the other way of doing it is, using invisibility potions is great. Like, they're really useful for stealing at the best of times, but they're great for escaping guards in the game now, because there's just more to lose, I think, with some of these guards. And so I've been brewing a few of those, and that's useful to have. But just the fact that you can dive into, in plain view of the guards into a little basket, is like, come on. Like,
I feel what you mean. Like, some other games are like that, where if they have line of sight on you, you shouldn't be able to do something like that. Like, it should either be removed or whatnot. You have to be out of line of sight in order for that to work. Otherwise, it makes no sense.
And the thing is, when you try to, I was gonna say, it's kind of like when you try to steal something inside and you try to run out of a door, and it just doesn't let you leave the door.
Right.
And that's how it should be. It should just not be active.
Yeah, exactly. And there are ways to work around it. Like, I don't mind it so much when it's with potions, because it's magic. It's meant to be weird and kind of break their ability to catch you. But when they're standing right next to you and you jump in a basket, I just think, nah, come on. Give us a bit more challenge there. It's a bit ridiculous.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's my game time. That's my view so far. That's 12 hours of play. I haven't finished the main quest, but I'm actively looking forward to playing it again later, which is good, I think.
I know I interrupted you. Like, I sent you a message, and you ready to jump on the show? You're like, what? Not even. I'm busy playing Thieves Guild. Leave me alone.
Yeah, shutting up Gwen.
Yeah, leave me alone. I'm busy. So, very nice. I know KDR Mickey said, glad that people have stopped killing NPCs instead of pickpocketing them, and the heist are great. Now here, for the skill line for Thieves Guild, I think it can be helpful, but not 100% need. So, that's good to know. And Mitchell fell asleep for 15 minutes. Let's see. Oh, Gavin, this is perfect. We'll actually talk to Gavin here in a second because we're going to move on to our next section. But before we do that, we'll just kind of make this as part of the community news. Gavin asks, I have my first character to VR16. I'm an Imperial Templar playing a Magicka build. My Magicka regeneration is really low. Any tips to improve it? Gavin, my main question for you is, are you PvP or PvE? Because there's a difference with that. I can tell you one thing right off the bat that would really help. It's called Channeling Focus. It's from the Templar line. I believe it's the Restoring Light line. It puts a circle on the ground that if you stand in it, you get spell resistance and it returns Magicka. I know Templars have some issues with Magicka return, but that is probably one of the best ways to give you a little bit of sustain. Avi, do you have any tips?
No, I feel his pain. I actually went through the same thing with my Imperial Templar, and I couldn't get my magic where I wanted it in any way, shape, or form, and I leveled a Brett into VR16. But I don't recommend doing that, though. You know, you can make it work with a Templar, but I don't have any.
I play a Nord. Come on, I have the worst racials of anybody. So
yeah, you can easily make it work, but it's.
I know.
Should have picked Brett.
Imperial is one of those that makes fantastic anything they use with stamina, but yeah,
and their health is just.
It's tanks and health. Yeah, are always really good.
Amazing, yeah.
But honestly, if you don't already have it on your bar, consider picking up and finding a spot for Channeling Focus. That will help. It will definitely help. I wouldn't recommend if you're doing PvE to switch to drinks, because while they do increase your regeneration, you're better off with the raw stats and chugging potions. Honestly, your potion should always be on cooldown. You should always be drinking it because it does give you a good bit of regeneration. If you can't afford it, you can get the cheap VR15 stuff that you just find from picking up. Just keep a stack of them and just, while you're playing, just chug it. Whenever it's off cooldown, chug it. And that will keep the regeneration buff going for a good long time. It's like 40 seconds, I think. And by the time it's off, it's about time to drink another potion. So... now here, what time do you guys go live? We are going live now at 10 a.m. Eastern, for those who are interested in joining us. So, yeah. Nate, are you to a point where you could read a book, sir?
I can read a book.
Because I think I have one posted, because it's the return of the readings.
Of course, yes. And also, by the way, Sweet Effects crashing my client now, so... We'll come back and fix that at a later date. Quite sure what has happened there. So, which book are you reading then?
It's in the notes. It is Civility and Etiquette, Wood Orcs.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Wood Orcs.
if you're in the game, it's under the dungeon lore.
No, I can't get in the game now. So, fine, okay. So this is Civility and Etiquette. Is this part of? This isn't a series, is it?
It is actually part of the series called Dungeon Lore. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So this is Civility and Etiquette, Wood Orcs 1, Elden Hollow by Choristeer, a sage sojourner. It is said that the Orcs came to be when the Aldmeri god Trinimac was devoured by the Daedric prince Boethia. As the myth goes, Boethia excreted Trinimac's remains, and those Aldmer who followed Trinimac rubbed that excrement on themselves to become Orcs. Perhaps it's just a myth, but the imagery is appropriate, repugnant, ridiculous, and a little comical, like the Orcs themselves. It's said that after a time, a sect of these people travelled into Valenwood and devoured a tangential culture, the Wood Orcs. Rather, they developed a tangential culture, the Wood Orcs. The Orcs in general are difficult for Mer to interact with, but these Wood Orcs are similar in physicality to our Wood Elf cousins, the Bosmer. The Wood Orcs are blunter and more ill-tempered than the Bosmer, but should be handled in much the same way, with patience, guidance, and a careful eye. Without a proper Altmeri hand to lead them, both races have the potential to devolve into self-destructive, orderless savages that are an inconvenience and danger to all civilized people around them. So how should an Altmer deal with a Wood Orc? First, earn her respect. Like her northern or synonym cousins, the more common Orc variety, a Wood Orc admires physical strength, but she also prizes agility, speed, and geographical knowledge, equating that with tactical knowledge. Display some semblance of competence in these areas and you will earn her begrudging appreciation. Here are a few ways to begin a conversation. As a sign of respect, make sure to introduce yourself or at least establish eye contact first. 1. Offer to begin an unarmed altercation and force the Wood Orc to submit. They enjoy fisticuffs. 2. If you find yourself walking with a Wood Orc, gain the lead and maintain it. This may lead to a foot trace. Win it and win the Wood Orc's approval. 3. Find a large rock, equal to or greater than body size, and hurl it within view. Use a strength spell if you must, but don't let the Wood Orc know. If you think this sounds like impressing your way into a tribe of athletic children, you would not be far wrong. Use the above methods with caution. Predictable as they may be, Wood Orcs are individuals and require improvisation in dealing with them. And here are a few things an Altmer should not do when interacting with Wood Orcs. 1. Flaunt magical abilities. Though the Altmen know that displaying advanced magic shows a lifetime of dedication and mastery of the highest craft, all Orcs bear a cultural distrust of magic. In their ignorance, they believe magic's primary function is oppression of their people and often bridle at its use. 2. Unless you're intending to ignite a battle, never hide in the trees of a Wood Orc territory. Walk in the open. As our Bosmer cousins have learnt, the Wood Orcs do not take kindly to those who stalk their forests. They equate secret movement with malevolence and cowardice. In part 2 of this collection, I'll detail specific hurdles that may come up in conversation with a Wood Orc, such as religion and Malakath, and the Wood Orc equivalent of Orsinium strongholds. The end.
Ooh. Orcs, big children. I actually love the story, the creation myth of the Orcs, with Trinomac being eaten and, well, excreted, so to speak, to form the Orcs. It's interesting if you play through the Hrothgar DLC, the two warring factions between the clan of, or the cult of Malakath and the cult of Trinomac. There's a interesting little side story between the two of those. So if you get a chance, you should read through those. Let's see here.
Yeah. They're good guides. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next one. Fortunately, my game has also allowed me to start ESO up again, so...
Yay!
I had to delete the DLLs and things, but we'll come by.
There's got to be something. There's a very specific way of having to handle it, and if you don't do it, I mean, it's just like any injector. It loads. So we'll have to figure that out from there. All right.
I just noticed that Gavin in chat was talking about getting Vigor, and that it helps with self-healing. Here's a key thing about using Vigor. Vigor charges ultimate very nicely. So if you're ever in the presence of any enemy, allies who don't have maximum health and you use Vigor nearby them, the healing prompts 8 seconds of ultimate charge on your character. So if you are like me and you like using Dragon Leap or Ferocious Leap, that's only 110 ultimate, then Vigor basically keeps that charging pretty damn permanently. It's a great skill to have.
Yeah, Vigor is pretty nice. And actually, they reduce the amount of points you need to get it now. Like, you gain those skill lines much faster. After the patch, I had a full skill line or something that I had to go to actually get up to it. And by the time the patch happened, I have enough for Vigor now. So, like, sadly, I just don't have any skill points. Which I gotta get a couple of those.
Yeah. Well, you'll get plenty of skill points in Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
Although you'll also get more things to spend them on, so it's as broad as it's long.
I still have gold content to go through. I have all of gold.
So did I, up until about 3 weeks ago, and I decided, you know what, I still haven't finished Craglorn because I was waiting for my brother to get a V16 Ebonheart base character to level. I haven't finished Hrothgar because I was kind of a little bored by it, mostly because Orcs bore me for the most part. But I'm going to go back and finish all that. and obviously this was coming out, so I thought, no, I'm going to go through and finish gold, and it's satisfying.
It's something I totally forgot, and probably the most important thing that has ever happened to ESO: finishing gold. You get Cagwell's helmet.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Who doesn't love the pot?
I have to finish one more zone to get it. I thought I was completely done with gold, and all of a sudden I didn't have it, and I was like, oh, you know what? I still have to do the last zone in Aldmeri Dominion.
Yeah, and they added the
never actually
reward for
finished
the soul shriven soul shriven motif now, which
Oh yeah, you get that. That's quite neat.
Right.
I think the thing that probably excites more people is they actually have the real Akaviri katana swords now. So if that was your thing, they're now part of the Soul Shriven set. So if you really like which I was actually very disappointed when ESO came out and the Akaviri set you got from PvP didn't actually have the curved swords. I'm obviously Northern European, and that's the style of sword I prefer. But I mean, it was kind of iconic when you saw like the blades with those swords, because that was the Akaviri style at the time. Because Akavir is obviously the Eastern equivalent of the planet Earth type geography. Like Akavir is the Far East that has a very heavy Japanese, Chinese type
right. They
feel
use
to it.
The katanas or whatever.
Yeah. And just everything about it. Like if you look at Cloud Ruler Temple and stuff like that, it was all designed in Akaviri style, and it has that very Asian feel to it. And the Elder Scrolls has that. You know how other games tend to borrow from real world cultures to kind of enhance their own. I mean, look at the Imperials. It's essentially Rome. Like the Imperial City, everything. It's Rome, everything. And I love it. But the whole of Akavir is designed with that Asian type motif all the way through it. So it's nice to see that being brought about. That's just a little side thing I didn't even think about. All right, guys, that's kind of it for episode 101 of Tales of Tamriel, and obviously it's a Jackal is now the name of this one. It's a Jackal, it's a Jackal.
And if you don't know what that's from, go watch Family Guy.
I love Family Guy.
Jackal.
Me too.
It's Jackal. Yep. So there we go. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and give our final thoughts for the show and where people can find you. Let's go ahead and start with Setsua.
All right. My final thoughts for the show. I'm glad that we did the reading because I missed that. I just love the reading part, learning about the lore and everything else. That's why I like audio podcasting when people just read a story. I just love it because, when I work, I just learn stuff. Where you can find me is on the PlayStation under my PSN name, Setsua25, Setsua25. And you also can find me pretty much just about anywhere on the Dungeon Crawler Network website. Just go in the About Me, and it has all my information to where you could find me in other places.
Excellent. Nate, a.k.a. Misa, where can people find you, sir?
Well, you can find me on the EU Mega Server. If you need anything crafting, if you need Sigic Ambrosia's crafting, if you want to run some dungeons or anything like that, you can find me on at Lanxon101. That's LANXON 101. Or just look for Miss Misa in that, and we can do that. And then I'm on Twitter at what am I? It's my name. At Nate Lanxon. Yeah. Oh yes, Nate. Of course, my Twitter.
You have two.
Of course, my Elder Scrolls one. Yes, that's probably better. At Nate ESO is my ESO Twitter handle. Thanks for reminding me. I forgot that.
No problem.
And by the way, for those who were, and I know you were on the edge of your seat, waiting to find out how much raw material I have found since we've been recording this episode, here are the final tallies. Rubidite ore, 185. Rough ruby ash, 139. Raw ancestor silk, 82. And the other one, what was the other one I found?
Leather.
I can't find where that is. Where did I put that? I found one kuta.
Ooh. Ooh,
And
Kuta.
where am I looking at? Here it is. Oh yes, Rubido hide scraps 65. So plus loads of other non-yellow but still pretty high level.
So in just under like 2 hours, that's a fairly decent haul. And if you get any gold out of that, well, my goodness, if you are sold, that Kuta goes for at least 8K here on the US side.
It does as well. And the thing is, if you've got the passive, and this is really key, if you're doing crafting, get the passive that is called, and I'm going to look at it up right now, it's called Metal Extraction. And there are 3 points you can put into that, and that will increase quite notably the number of times you will get drug wax coming out of your leathers and your
rosin and tempering alloy.
And tempering alloy, that's what I was thinking of. And again, they sell for a lot of gold, so the raw material itself still sells for quite a bit, but that's probably going to go down. But if you can get those skills, extract some of those high-end tempers, then it's a good way of getting gold. So I would recommend that. And again, specific to this area in the Thieves Guild DLC, it seems particularly suited for that, as those numbers hopefully have demonstrated.
Nice. It's definitely worth quite a bit of money if you get the gold. I know the tempering alloy right now are probably the most expensive, and the Kuta is most expensive right now at 8K. Tempering alloy hover in the low 7 to 7.5K. Rosin are like 2.2 to 2.5K, and Drew Wax is somewhere in the 3K range. I mean, it's a decent haul of cash if you get those. And of course, like you said, you can sell the raw materials. You're
gonna get a lot by doing the mining in this zone. I've just found like 4 more nodes of rubidite ore just since giving those numbers. it's pretty fast.
Nice.
Oh, and another aspect room. Let's see what this is.
Avi, sir, why don't you give your final thoughts?
It was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed having the readings back, like Setsua said. Nate, it's good to have you on the show.
Thanks, man.
It's been a very good time. To find me, though, you can find me pretty much everywhere. At Avi Optimal, AVIOPTIMAL. That's on Twitter, YouTube, PSN, PC, in-game on ESO. And yeah, you can. And a little shameless plug here too. We started another podcast on the Dungeon Crawler Network. So come check out the Dungeon Crawler podcast sometime with me and Setsua and Sunny Black.
There you go. First episode, I am working on it. It will be out here today or tomorrow. So
it's about a good 2-hour episode, I believe.
It's a long one.
Arcaneer says, final thoughts. I missed everything. When did you guys change time? Today. Today. So, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. 10 a.m. Eastern. So there we go. All right, my final thoughts, obviously. Fantastic show. Thank you so much, Nate, for coming on. This is technically your first official show of many. Even though you were here for episode 100, this is the official. Nate is now officially part of the crew here at Tales of Tamriel, and will be joining me, and now and the rest of us, but I meant joining me in the fact that now I have a lore nut with me to go crazy, and I will be giving homework. So for lore, because I like talking lore. So there we go. You can find me in-game on the North American mega server at Aggelos, Aggelos. If you guys want to join the guild, send me a message. Come out for the events. It's a lot of fun. You can find me on Twitter at Aggelos, AGGELOS_WOF. And that's where I'm at. You can follow the show at Tales of Tamriel on Twitter, and the network as a whole at Dungeon Crawl Net. You can see everything that goes on there. Dungeon Crawl Net's more of a repository for everything. So while all of our shows have individual Twitters, everything goes under there. We just do a bunch of stuff off of there, so you can check that one out as well. You can follow the show on YouTube at youtube.com/Dungeon Crawler Network. Of course, our website, dungeoncrawlernetwork.com, is where everything's at, including all of our shows, all of our episodes, as well as all of our guides, including the Sweet FX and things of that nature. So if it's something you're interested, check it out there. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of Tales of Tamriel. Please remember that the show time for live shows have changed to 10 a.m. Eastern on Sundays going forward. So we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Everyone have a wonderful evening.
A serpent lights the ancient sky, a thread of tainted stars. Evil stirs, and in its wake the souls of mortals sway. And sorrow reigns over fields of red, and spirits pace through the shadows cast by their graves. These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strive, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn. Darkness strikes to blind the strong, but faith will guide our swords. Loyal hearts will stand as one and fight with shields of hope. Pride feels the deadly fire that devours our tower of gold. The drums of war